How's it going, guys? Uno Gaming back again for another 2v2. If I'm honest, I really enjoy 2v2s. I like having the 4 different factions on the battlefield. It just makes the fights seem a bit more bigger and a bit more intense. And there will be some more 1v1 footage coming along shortly. But just to get into this game, I'm running a very similar build to what I did in my last video. In the fact I'm running the Exalted Bloodthirster, a second Bloodthirster, 2 squads of Bloodletters, 5 Khorne Warriors, and then 2 Khorne Hounds. This battle goes a little bit different to what I originally had planned. So straight away off the bat, I'm moving the front line up and hiding my gooning squad sat at the back. Now we've got an Exalted Lord of Change, and then Forsaken, more Forsaken, even more Forsaken, 4 squads of Forsaken. We've got 2 squads of Flamers, if I remember correctly. Just be 1. Yep, just 1. 3 squads of Chaos Furies of each, and then a lot of Pink Horrors. So, to get this moving, I'll push my front line up. Now this was a bit of a mistake on my behalf, and we see that in a second, because we keep the move on. We notice that Cafe's pushing up as well, and the Khorne Hounds I've got at the back, I didn't want to move too quickly because I didn't want these 3 squads of Jade Lancers. I didn't want the Cafe player to notice and just turn on them. So I was holding them in reserve just for a little bit longer. I was just planning to use them on prime targets like the Celestial Dragon Crossbowmen. You know, they're expensive units that if I can tie down and just buy Tzeentch some time away from the firepower, it's 100 times worth it. I do notice Tzeentch managed to grab some attention by bringing the Furies in, so I decided to try and pounce on this, and I move the Chaos Warriors of Khorne up with the Bloodletters behind them. Same strategy that I like to use with the bread and butter, and the fact that Chaos Warriors of Khorne take the shooting, take the impact, and the Bloodletters, you know, sort of get the armour piercing to go through the anti-infantry. So, a mistake on my behalf is I've moved the main core of my army up here, and the Bloodletters are still back chilling in the trees. I'm just watching it all happen. When what I should do is use the Chaos Warriors of Khorne to attract the fire like they are at the moment. They're taking range fire, but they are shielded with quite a hefty amount of armour, sorry, and they're pushing up forwards. My enemy being quite clever, using the Ice Guard to shoot into the actual Bloodletters instead of the Chaos Warriors of Khorne. And then finally, I decide to let the Bloodletters make an appearance, and as you can see, the Fleshhounds of Khorne have managed to sneak in quite uninterrupted as the cavalry decided to go charge into what looks very Last Samurai. So straight away, we hit 2 squads there, and as you can see over here, the Patriarch pops the Saliot's Lullaby, getting the healing on his forces. I tried to weave this squad of Chaos Warriors of Khorne in, just to try and disrupt the back line. Now at this point, I'm really fancying me some bear, so we're going in for the charge, and as you can see, the impact damage straight away is huge. It causing him to pop his buff straight off the bat. Now I should have brought some warriors back through to try and hold off the Warbear Riders. They're anti-large, so they are going to hurt. But the gooning potential of just these 2 units is absolutely huge. What I should have done here is back off again, now pull them both out, but instead I stay in their way too long. You know, the Ice Guard are getting untouched, unchecked, and they're applying Frostbite, making my units move a little bit slower, and I'm just chasing Constantine for this gooning attempt. My infantry are losing the fight quite hard. The Zargard just absolutely dominating them. But obviously it's a complete different tier of infantry. Tier 3 to 2 you'd expect them to. I pulled the Exalted Bloodthirster and I completely surrendered the Bloodthirster into this blob. I should be trying to pull him out, who's putting a lot of work into the Patriarch. But the Kosovo dervishes do get a good charge, and the Chaos Warriors of Khorne and start to break off some of my units. My Bloodthirster does get caught, but while I'm over here, the Exalted is chasing down Constantine because I'm just trying to goon them. The Tzeentch player is doing extremely well, winning this fight on all sides, and he becomes a key point to this victory later on. This fight over here, I wasted a Bloodthirster who only managed to gain about 1200 gold value, which isn't best, but he could have gained a lot more if I used him more carefully instead of allowing him to get caught by Warbear Riders. And the main infantry core of my army just got absolutely crumped. That's the gold value, 504. We do manage to finish off the old man on his bear over here. The Exalted Bloodthirster does manage to do his job. We unleash a breath and then we go hunting. I've said many times on videos, I'm all about trying to pick that low-hanging fruit, and Lord Magistrates in the sky with no backup, no riders to defend them. I'm just going to get the Bloodthirster in there, activate Deathbringer, and absolutely go to town on this glorified hot air balloon. As I said though, over here it is lost. How I think I could have played this better was perhaps using the Khorne dogs on this side and hitting the Ice Guard. If I brought them through the trees, then everyone would notice they're there, and I could have shut down the Ice Guard a lot quicker. So the Lord Magistrate going down, absolutely destroyed. So what I'm just showing the importance, in my opinion, of using the Exalted Bloodthirster to chase down these lords, especially ones like Lord Magistrates where you know they are a bit on the squishier side. At this point I'm complete damage control. I'm trying to sort of recoup what units I've got from this massacre that I left my units in. So we're going to be holding some of these in the trees just to allow me to have some units on the ground. And we're just going to be again using the Exalted Bloodthirster. You know, it's 2,710 gold value. Just using to pick off things. Sky Lantern. But again, this was a waste of my time. You know, they're shattered. They're not coming back. I suppose at this point, I'm just feeding the gold value. So at this point, I know, beautiful cinematic there. Getting that down with a breath. Absolutely love it. At this point, Tzeentch is grouping his forces. He knew I lost this side quite badly, but in all fairness, it is a good game. At this point, there's not much the player is going to be able to do. There's a lot of pink horrors still running around, and a lot of Forsaken that realistically have been scratched. My opponent on Kislev does very well to try and just cut off as much of my units as possible, the Crossfight Dervishes and the Warbears. But you know, it is an extremely healthy Exalted Bloodthirster and an Exalted Lord of Change. An Exalted Lord of Change with 2,200 gold and 130 kills, casting all means of unholy magic and taking quite a death toll while he's at it. So at this point we know the Cathay player is pretty much out, everything's shattered, everything's running for the hills. So while I may only have, I think, do I have any squads over here? No, I've literally just got a squad sat in the trees here, which I'm moving back. The Exalted Bloodthirster, which, you know, is nothing to laugh at, is still very good at killing characters. So I think we idle around a little bit here. I'll get some lapsing on the Exalted Bloodthirster. We get a second squad over here come back, but we decide to pull it back a little bit in the trees. The Exalted Lord of Change doing his thing and just popping magic here, there and everywhere. And there's each player in great. He sends the Furies in straight away. In my head, his plan is use them to buy him some time to move his forces up. What I do is I bring the Exalted Bloodthirster in, knowing that we are probably going to get the bears that will follow the Exalted Bloodthirster everywhere, just with that anti-large. I notice the bears are stuck over here, so I go for a good attempt breaking off some of these armoured Hussars. Every little bit helps breaking the units, but I know I need to get in the air quite quickly because the Warbear Riders and the Patriarch is coming over. I do notice the ice guard with glaives are not fully broken, and I'd love to break them, but the war bears are hot on my heels. So I do like to use this little mechanic here. I just juke the dive down just to keep the bears over here instead of actually focusing over here. And as soon as the bears go to leave, I'm looking to land again. If you are wondering why I'm flying circles over the ice guard, it stops them from shooting at the Bloodthirster, because they have to constantly turn to sort of readjust their aim. Straight away the Bloodthirster goes down, breaks them off. And then I've run him straight into the Cassars. And the importance of me sharing this video was, while I do like a 2v2, the Tzeentch player really handled himself well in this game. Whereas me, I lost all my infantry on the get-go, but the gooning potential was successful in the fact that I did take both lords out. But at this point we're just breaking the units off, and that's the end of the game there. But as we can see, I do like to look for the gold values at the end, just to sort of see what did well, what could have done better. The Cornhounds did feel a little bit like sacrificial lambs, and I didn't use them to the best of their ability. The Warriors didn't do great, but I mean, I didn't use some of their gold value. This one did well, and then that just paid for itself. So, you know, two squads did relatively well. The Bloodletters just got absolutely dismantled. The first Bloodthirster, you know, the original Bloodthirster, 1246. I could have used him a lot better if I managed his micro better. Allowing him to get caught by the Bear Riders really was his downfall. I mean, they did absolute work on him. And then the Exalted Bloodthirster, he did well. Did as I expected, managed to get in there. You saw the damage he did to Constantine. Absolutely demolished him. And then straight onto the Lord Magistrate as well and did the same. Thank you very much for watching the video, guys. This has been Uno Gaming, and I look forward to catching you on the next one.